Good evening.
Thank you. It's us versus them. It's us versus the insiders and the billionaires. It's us versus Cuomo. It's us versus Zohran. This is a campaign not about power. This is a campaign about you, the people. And I know many of you hardworking New Yorkers, you tell me you've been pushed aside, you've been silenced. These are the people that have all the money, all the connections. They've made their backroom deals, but we have something more important. We have you, the people. And we're not going to be silenced anymore. We're going to fight. Tonight, I want you to look at the content of my policies, to know that I've served this city for more than 50 years, the city that I love. And I'm going to share with you my vision to make New York City safer again, to make New York City more affordable again, and where everybody once again can live the American dream.
Please be aware, people. By the way, we're going to pause sometimes through this to break it down. This is an important point. Do not buy into Curtis Sliwa. Don't let him make you think he's a likable guy. Yes, he's funny. Yes, he's insane. But he is Trump. He is Donald Trump. And by the way, he's desperate. He's going to try and depict himself as somebody like Mamdani, somebody who is against the billionaires because the billionaires are pressuring him to drop out. But understand this, he is not good for New York. Don't get tricked into voting for him, even if you hate Mamdani for some reason.
Thank you. Next is Andrew Cuomo. Good evening.
Thank you. Good evening. New York's first, thank you to the moderators. Thank you all for being here. And go Knicks, go Knicks, go Knicks. I hope we get an update on the score. New York is the great...
That was absolutely bizarre. Okay, you know he's doing that because in the first debate, he was asked, oh, what team, if the Mets and the Knicks were both playing a Game 7, which team would you go see? Even though that's impossible because baseball season is not the same as the playoffs for NBA. And he was like, I'd go to both. I'd split my time. And Zohran was like, just pick a team, man. Just pick a side. You can't pick a team with anything. You're a Democrat. You're a Republican. So now he's like trying to make up for it. He's like, can somebody please text me the Knicks score? You don't care about the Knicks score. You are so disingenuous. It's laughable. And by the way, it's Game 1 of the regular NBA season. I don't even think regular New Yorkers care that much about the Knicks score tonight. Let's be real.
Greatest city on the globe. But we are at a pivotal moment. And the voters are going to have to decide in this election what candidate has the plan to save this city and what candidate can get it done, not just talk about it. My main opponent has no new ideas. He has no new plan. It's Bill de Blasio rehash, and we know how that turned out. He's never run anything, managed anything. He's never had a real job. I will hire 5,000 new police, build 500,000 new units. I will cut taxes. I will grow jobs. And I will end this hate-mongering and division that is tearing this city apart, because that's not who we are as a New Yorker.
What is he even talking about? What hate-mongering and division? You have Mamdani, who is trying to actually unite the city. Every time they paint him as a terrorist Muslim who hates Jews, he one-ups everybody and shows people that he is standing in solidarity with Jewish New Yorkers and has an actual plan to tackle anti-Semitism. And then they say, oh, well, you know, he's not there for the black community. Like, he's everywhere in the city. He's working with every single coalition, every single community. Andrew Cuomo doesn't even live in New York City, or he did move here to try running for mayor. It's just embarrassing.
New Yorkers, you know I can make change. You know I can make government work. I've done it before. I'll be ready on day one.
Okay, thank you. Next is Zohran Mamdani. Good evening.
Here we go.
Good evening. Thank you to the moderators, and thank you to New Yorkers for tuning in. I know you'd rather be watching the Knicks. While there are 3 candidates on this stage, you will hear only 2 messages. My opponents, who spend more time trying to convince the other to drop out than actually proposing their own policies, will speak only of the past, because that's all that they know. I am the sole candidate running with a vision for the future of this city.
That's fantastic. I love that. He's so right. I mean, Cuomo and Sliwa are both begging each other to drop out. People are pressuring Sliwa. They're like, oh, if you drop out, Cuomo is only trailing Mamdani by 4 or 5%, assuming that all the Sliwa voters are going to automatically go to Cuomo. What a joke. First of all, many of the Sliwa voters are just bleed red Republicans that would never vote for the Democrat no matter what. They can hate Mamdani as much as they want, and they would never vote for Cuomo because he's still a Democrat. And then the other Sliwa voters just hate Andrew Cuomo, and they align more closely with Mamdani. So I don't know what fantasy this is that if Sliwa drops out, it's going to let Cuomo have a fighting chance. He's still going to be trailing 5% if all of Sliwa's votes magically go to Cuomo. The only likely scenario that Mamdani loses is if Cuomo drops out and then, God forbid, Sliwa takes off because he gets all the anti-Mamdani Cuomo voters too. That would be nuts. But hopefully neither of those things happen because the election's coming up and we want to see Mamdani just get to work already.
Andrew Cuomo will spend much of tonight attacking me. He is a desperate man, lashing out because he knows that the one thing he's always cared about, power, is now slipping away from him. He will amplify right-wing talking points, he will share conspiracy theories, and he will do these things to make you feel that this should keep you up at night. But I've been spending the last year listening to New Yorkers, and I know what actually keeps you up. It's whether or not you can afford to live a safe and dignified life in this city. I have plans for our future. My opponents only have fear.
Thank you very much, candidates.
That was really solid. I like the fact that he is once again reminding New Yorkers about his vision for a dignified life. People are saying, what is your goal with all this? You're a democratic socialist. What does that mean? And he says, I want people to have a dignified life. I don't want people to just get by. I want people to have a solid life.
Let's start tonight with some breaking news that happened yesterday afternoon when federal agents descended on Canal Street, arresting street vendors who have been selling counterfeit designer merchandise for as long as any of us can remember. This is the first time we've seen major federal law enforcement activity in the city outside of arrests at Immigration Court in Lower Manhattan. And some critics are now ringing an alarm bell, calling it a dangerous and unprecedented use of federal agents in New York City. Others say that the vendors were a major quality of life problem in the neighborhood that the NYPD had ignored. So the candidate, I'll ask each of you to respond to this. How should the mayor and the NYPD have handled both the presence of the street vendors and then the federal action? We'll start with you, Mr. Cuomo.
I've had a lot of dealings with President Trump. And there's only one way to deal with him. He puts his finger in your chest, and you have to put your finger right back in his chest.
That's disgusting. You put your finger on his chest? Also, of course, you've dealt with Trump a lot. You guys are buddies. You're boys.
I've actually had this situation with ICE interfering in New York before. It was upstate New York where ICE just showed up and started to take action. And I called the president and I went down to the White House and I said, that doesn't work in New York. You don't send ICE in without coordinating with our police. It's not smart, it's duplicative, and it's dangerous. We don't need ICE to do quality of life crimes. We don't need them to worry about illegal vendors. That's a basic policing function for NYPD, Consumer Affairs, etc. I would have called the president and I would have said, look, you're way out of bounds, they're way out of bounds, call them back or I'm going to have the NYPD step in and stop them.
Cuomo would have never put his finger in Trump's chest, but he probably put his finger somewhere else. Let's be real. And he probably would like it if Trump put his finger right back up in that same place. Crude? Yeah, but they love each other. He's Trump's boy now.
Because this is not their jurisdiction. You're in the city of New York.
Okay. Mr. Mamdani.
ICE is a reckless entity that cares little for the law and even less for the people that they're supposed to serve. What we need to be doing here in our city is to end the chapter of collaboration between City Hall and the federal government, which we've seen under Mayor Adams.
Perfect. Notice the difference in tone. The first one was, well, ICE, we handle them differently. ICE, we need ICE cooperating with local government. And Mamdani's like, no ICE. This is unnecessary. We don't want federal agents coming around our city. Nuh-uh.
What we need to do is actually pass the street vending
Reckless
reform
agency.
bills that have been in the city council, some of which that this mayor has actually overridden. That's an example of how we can both protect street vendors, ensure quality of life, and leave no stone unturned in delivering for the people of this city, as opposed to working with a president who is looking to declare war on those same people.
Mr. Sliwa.
Unlike both of my adversaries, I patrolled that area many times, Church and Canal. And as you said, Errol, That activity has been going on for a long time. Selling the knockoff, sometimes stolen contraband by a series of people. The local 5th precinct, they make arrests when they have obviously cause to do so, and they complain that they have to release them because of no cash bail, of which both of my adversaries are in favor of and I'm not. The feds should not have stepped into this situation. There is not communication between the local authorities and the feds. This is a matter that should have been left up to the NYPD. But we can't tolerate citizens attacking our federal law enforcement forces in the street because then that will just lead to anarchy.
This is why people should not be buying into the charm and the funniness of Sliwa. Listen to what he's saying. He cares more about the lives of these federal agents than he does about the citizens of New York who are being terrorized. He's only saying, let's not attack the ICE agents. What about the ICE agents attacking New York civilians?
Let me ask a related question. President Trump has been commenting on this race and all of you on a regular basis. He's been less than glowing when talking about each of you, especially you, Mr. Mamdani. I'd like you each to describe whatever combination of defiance, diplomacy, and cooperation you will use as mayor if President Trump continues to increase the federal government's role in the affairs of our city while also threatening to decrease funding. Start with you this time, Mr. Sliwa.
Well, both my adversaries have decided to bump chests with President Trump to prove who's more macho. You can't beat Trump. He holds most of the cards. He's already cut federal funding for Medicaid, for the SNAP program, and is threatening to cut funds for NYCHA. So if you're all of a sudden going to get adversarial, you're going to lose. And who gets hurt? The people of New York City. With Trump, it's always the art of the deal. You have to go, you have to try to negotiate, whether it's with his minions or himself.
You're his minion, brother, and you're literally describing appeasement. You're saying, yeah, well, that Nazi dictator, you can't bump chests with him. You got to just negotiate and give him what he wants.
He'll want you to give in order to get a little bit. But if you immediately act like you're going to take him on, like, you know, it's going to be a one-on-one fight, we're going to lose. All the people in New York City are going to lose. You have to be able to show respect. And I think if you show respect, you'll get respect, and you'll protect the New Yorkers who are...
You must respect our supreme ruler, our big, beautiful president, Daddy Trump. If you do not respect my master, he will no longer allow $1 pizza in New York, and rats will be everywhere. You must respect the Führer.
So desperately in need of federal funds. What's the good of it? They'll bump chests with Donald Trump. They won't get the money, and then they'll blame Donald Trump. I will negotiate with Donald Trump and try to get the best deal possible for our poor and indigent citizens.
Okay, Mr. Cuomo.
Yeah, the difference on this question is I've actually lived it, and I've done it with President Trump over many years through the most difficult situation that this country has gone through, COVID plus. You're wrong. You're going to have to confront President Trump. He is hyper-aggressive, and he is going to overstep his bounds. And you are going to have to confront him. And you can beat him. I confronted him, and I have beaten him. He was going to quarantine New York during COVID, and I stopped him. He was going to cut aid to federal programs, and I stopped him. But you also want to be in a place where you can cooperate on good things, because we need federal help.
I think maybe one of the reasons why Cuomo is still in the race, knowing he's going to lose, is because he's possibly trying to recreate his legacy. Like, he's trying to rewrite the history books, and he's using this as a platform, because if he wasn't in this election right now, no one would be paying attention to him. No one would be listening to him. So I don't know what's going on inside the head of this man, like why he's choosing to stay in the race after getting crushed in the primary, but it could be because he just wants the platform right now to try and tell you he did a better job as governor than he really did.
And by the way, it's all BS, because the mayor doesn't have the power to do it anyway. The Rent Guidelines Board does, and he doesn't control the Rent Guidelines Board. So nothing is going to happen. It's all this. It's just more political blather.
Mr. Mamdani, you want to respond?
You know, if you want a candidate for mayor who tells you everything that he cannot do, then Andrew Cuomo should be your choice. If you want a candidate for mayor who will use every tool at their disposal, including the 9 appointees at the Rent Guidelines Board, all of whom are appointed by the mayor, then I am the candidate for you.
That's facts. What kind of person is inspired by the vision of Cuomo who says nothing is going to change, everything is going to stay the same, temper your expectations? Like, yes, obviously it would be a dream scenario if everything Mamdani says he wants to do will be accomplished within the next immediate few years. But he is actively going to fight for these things. He's actively going to try and accomplish these things. And hopefully all of them are accomplished during his term, beyond his term. At least he's going to work on making things better for people. Cuomo, status quo.
Candidates on stage here tonight have armed security. I would like to spend a few minutes to see if we can dial down the rhetoric. Mr. Mamdani, some Jewish New Yorkers continue to say that your comments on Israel and the war in Gaza leave them feeling unsafe and concerned about their future in our city.
What Jewish New Yorkers are saying that? Overwhelmingly, Jewish New Yorkers are supporting him because they're not stupid. They're smart enough to know that he's not an anti-Semite. And every time the media and MAGA, they say, oh, Jewish New Yorkers, they're going to be unsafe. You're insulting the intelligence of Jewish New Yorkers who have a brain, who can tell with their own eyes and ears who is actually going to fight for them and who is going to fight them. And Mamdani has said he has actual plans to address anti-Semitism, and other candidates, Cuomo, Sliwa, exploiting anti-Semitism for political purposes.
Recently, several prominent New York rabbis took the unusual step of denouncing your candidacy, including the rabbi of the Park Avenue Synagogue in Manhattan and Rabbi Michael Miller, the longtime leader of the Jewish Community Relations Council, who is a friend to many of us. Do you have any regrets about how you've dealt with these issues? And will your longstanding views on the subject get in the way of your ability to be an effective mayor?
I'm going to let him speak, but this whole issue of him being against New York Jews is so manufactured by the media. He has never done anything to say he's against Jewish New Yorkers. All he's done is express his solidarity with Palestinians who have been brutally murdered by the Israeli military. He's talking about a foreign country that claims to represent Jews worldwide. No wonder these conservative Republican rabbis are going after Mamdani.
I look forward to being a mayor for every single person that calls this city home. Not just those who voted for me in the Democratic primary, not just those that vote for me in this general election, but all 8.5 million New Yorkers. And that includes Jewish New Yorkers who may have concerns or opposition to the positions that I've shared about Israel and Palestine. You know, just a few weeks ago, I was on the M57, the slowest bus in New York City. And as I was seated there, there was a speech therapist who was sitting next to me. She told me that she was Jewish. She said that her daughter was a huge fan, but that she was not yet decided on who she was going to vote for. And she shared to me about her fears in this city, about rising anti-Semitism. And I told her what I will tell New Yorkers today, which is that I will be the mayor who doesn't just protect Jewish New Yorkers, but also celebrates and cherishes them, who doesn't just increase funding to hate crime prevention programs by 800%, who doesn't just ensure that the NYPD are outside of synagogues and temples on the high holy days, but also actually delivers on the implementation of the Hidden Voices curriculum in our school system so that children in this city learn about the beauty and the breadth of the Jewish experience right here in the 5 boroughs.
Okay.
Very sincere.
I've got a different...
Yeah, but can I just comment on that, please? You know, not everything is a TikTok video. You're the savior of the Jewish people. You won't denounce globalize the intifada, which means kill Jews. There's unprecedented fear in New York. It was not several
This is how out of touch Cuomo is. Remember in the last debate, they asked him, oh, well, you lost the primary badly. You're still in this election for some reason. Do you have any regrets? Would you have changed anything? He's like, I wish I got more involved with social media because clearly TikTok is the reason Mamdani won. It's like, you're completely missing the point. Obviously, Mamdani has good social media team members helping him out, but the point is he has policies that get people excited. No wonder it's easy for him to do well on social media because he has an actual platform. And you're like, oh, it's just another TikTok answer from Mamdani. Like, that was very detailed. I make TikTok videos. I might not even make a TikTok video of that because it was so thorough. It's not really a good bite-sized clip. if you ask me. But every time he says this, he's like, he won't even denounce globalize the Intifada. Like, Mamdani already walked that back a bit. And no, it doesn't mean kill all Jews. It's a rallying cry to help Palestinian self-determination and liberation.
Rabbis, Errol, it was 650 rabbis who signed the letter, not several.
Let me ask you a related question, Mr. Cuomo. Many New Yorkers have serious grievances with Israel and the way the Israeli government under Benjamin Netanyahu has conducted the war in Gaza and expanded settlements in the West Bank. What would you say to and
finally they're asking these questions? This is how you know that the narrative is changing and that the dominoes are starting to fall. They didn't ask this the first few debates. They didn't say, well, New Yorkers actually kind of hate Israel now, so what are you going to do about that? And I hope they ask Cuomo about how he feels towards Muslim New Yorkers, because that's a real soft spot for Cuomo as well.
How would you handle New Yorkers who are in the streets, if you were mayor, protesting the actions of the Netanyahu government?
Fine. That's your right. Protest, demonstrate, disagree. God bless America. God bless New York City. And there is no doubt that there's two sides on what's going on, and the passions are very high. That doesn't justify anti-Semitic behavior in New York. It doesn't justify having a Jewish population that feels unprotected in New York. It doesn't justify leaders who stoke the flames of hatred against Jewish people, which is what Zohran does, in my opinion.
I'll give him a chance to answer, and then we'll go to Mr. Sliwa.
You know, I've heard from Jewish New Yorkers about their fears about anti-Semitism in this city. And what they deserve is a leader who takes it seriously, who roots it out of these 5 boroughs, not one who weaponizes it as a means by which to score political points on a debate stage.
Mr. Sliwa. That's exactly right. That's literally what I said earlier. It's the politicization, the weaponization of Jewish lives. Cuomo doesn't care about Jewish New Yorkers. Let's be real. Suddenly Cuomo's a big friend of the Jews? No, not at all. And he's only doing this because he knows it's the only way he can try to attack Mamdani. It's not really working anymore.
Excuse me, Mr. Cuomo, it's my turn, all right? It's like 2 kids in a schoolyard.
Yeah, I heard you on the radio this morning.
Zohran, this is personal for me. I know you are under threat. The mother of my 2 youngest sons who are raised Jewish, Melinda Katz, is prosecuting this person who came up and tried to do you harm. But let me speak on behalf of...
I love how Curtis hates Cuomo so much that he sometimes defends Mamdani, and he is like attacking. He didn't even let Cuomo have his little viral moment, like he won't even condemn globalizing Intifada. Say you'll condemn it. And he's like, Cuomo, shut your mouth. It's my turn now.
My 2 sons, when they've heard some of the statements you've made, like in support of global jihad, and I hear some people out there saying the Jews, their time is due, which means the same thing. They're frightened, they're scared. They view you as the arsonist who fanned the flames of anti-Semitism. They cannot suddenly accept the fact that you're coming in like a firefighter and you're going to put out these flames. You've got a lot of explaining to do, a lot of apologizing to do. My sons are afraid. Their family, their friends, many in the Jewish community are concerned if you become mayor because they don't think when anti-Semitism rears its ugly head, which it's now doing more than ever before, that you will have the ability to come in and put out those flames of hate.
He also doesn't care about anti-Semitism. Let's be real. He's more closely aligned with Trump. Trump doesn't care about Jewish New Yorkers. Trump only cares about Israel. It's all about development and money and genocide. But also, mind you, this entire question began because they were talking about how there's been added security measures for these candidates because Zohran Mamdani is probably getting death threats on a daily basis for being Muslim, for being a terrorist sympathizer. They call him a jihadist. They say he's going to enact Sharia law in New York City. Cuomo's printing out pictures of his beard artificially darkened and lengthened to make him look like a scarier terrorist or whatever. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And the real person that's actually facing threats is Mamdani. And Muslim New Yorkers, they don't get any attention from these other candidates here. Nobody cares about Palestinian Americans, Muslim Americans who are feeling threatened by everything that's been going on these past few years?
Okay, yeah, you can.
I think there is room for disagreement on many positions and many policies, but I also want to correct the record. I have never, not once, spoken in support of global jihad. That is not something that I have said, and that continues to be ascribed to me, and frankly, I think much of it has to do with the fact that I am the first Muslim candidate to be on the precipice of winning this election. Now, all the same, Curtis, I do still want to be the mayor that will keep your sons safe, that will keep every single New Yorker safe. And it is my job to not only deliver on that commitment, but also to ensure that New Yorkers feel it every single day that they live in this city.
Honestly, makes me emotional, man. It's like, no matter how hard they try and get him on this, he's so real. He's just a normal person. And he's like, guys, you can try to make me seem like I'm a person that hates Jewish New Yorkers, but I just don't. And I'm just going to stick up for them the same way that I would stick up for your kids, the same way that I would stick up for any group in this city. He has no reason to hate Jewish New Yorkers. He has no reason to hate Jews. It's not advantageous for him politically either. But it's surely not who he is as a person. It seems like the least of his priorities to be an anti-Semite.
13 different women who worked in your administration credibly accused you of sexual harassment. Since then, you have spent more than $20 million in taxpayer funds to defend yourself, all while describing these allegations as entirely political. You have even gone so far as to legally go after these women. One of those women, Charlotte Bennett, is here in the audience this evening.
Wow.
You sought to access her private gynecological records. She cannot speak up for herself because you lodged a defamation case against her. I, however, can speak. What do you say to the 13 women that you sexually harassed?
Wow. He just went scorched earth, left no stone unturned. And by the way, we're talking about 13 women. Even one woman would be too much. And yet Cuomo is going to say it's all fake, it's a conspiracy theory, yet I'm still going to be the mayor for all New Yorkers, including the women of New York. What a joke. Let's hear his little non-response, though.
If you want to be in government, then you have to be serious and mature. There were allegations of sexual harassment. They were then went to 5 district attorneys, fully litigated for 4 years. The cases were dropped, right? You know that as a fact. So everything you just stated, you just said was a misstatement, which we're accustomed to from you.
Stated was a misstatement?
Yes, because the cases were dropped. That's what happened. And
the cases were dropped, but you still wanted these women to drop their clothing, and you were still sexually harassing them. Let's be real. The cases were dropped because of your pressure, probably because of settlements, because of your political power. Let's continue, though.
Question to you. You still didn't answer. Why won't you say BDS against Uganda for saying gays should be imprisoned for being gay? Okay. You have no problem with BDS against Israel, but no BDS for Uganda.
This is just one question, one answer. We all heard it. Thank you very much, candidates.